The autumn air bit at the town of Havenwood, the first true chill heralding Halloween night. For 12-year-old Leo, the holiday was usually about candy and costumes, but this year felt different. He couldn't shake the creeping dread that had settled in after his younger brother Sammy vanished 2 nights ago. The last thing Sammy had mentioned was Never Never Land, a place he said the Sandman was taking him. The local police had dismissed it as a runaway case, but Leo knew better. He had found a strange, coarse handful of black sand in Sammy's bed, and the last words from the Metallica song, Enter Sandman, kept echoing in his head. Exit light, enter night, take your chances, trust your sight. Leo gathered his two best friends, Maya and Jax, and showed them the sand. He's not gone, Leo insisted, his voice tight. He's trapped in a dream world. We have to go get him. Maya, usually the skeptical one, couldn't deny the chill the black sand gave even her. Jax, ever the adventurous type, was already pulling up a map of the local area, looking for places that might inspire a dream world portal. Together they settled on the old abandoned lighthouse on the cliff overlooking the bay. As the moon climbed high on Halloween night, the trio slipped out of their homes, the glow of carved pumpkins illuminating their path. They reached the lighthouse, its paint peeling and windows long since broken. The wind howled around them, a sound like a distant, distorted lullaby. Inside, the air grew heavy, thick with the scent of dust and something sweet like old candy. In the center of the main room, the black sand they had found in Sammy's bed was sprinkled in a rough circle, pulsing with a faint violet light. He was here, Leo whispered. Maya pulled out a small glass vial, pouring the sand they'd brought with them into the circle. The violet light flared, blinding them for a moment. When their vision cleared, the dusty room had transformed. They were no longer in the lighthouse. They stood on a path paved with black sand under a sky the color of a bruise. Towering, gnarled trees with branches like grasping hands lined the path, their leaves rustling a distorted "Hush there, baby" in the wind. A signpost, twisted and unsettling, pointed the way. Never, Never Land. So, okay, Jax said, his voice a little shaky. Let's go get Sammy. Their journey was less about physical danger and more about psychological terror. The path was a manifestation of their own fears. For Maya, the bookish one, the path became lined with shelves of books whose pages were blank or filled with menacing scribbles, a fear of losing knowledge and logic. For Jax, the athlete, the ground beneath him felt like it was shifting, turning into a muddy, unstable field, a fear of losing control. And for Leo, the path was eerily quiet. He kept hearing Sammy's voice just around the bend, but every time he ran to look, there was only a grinning jack-o'-lantern whose candle flame danced wildly. They pressed on, the air growing colder. Up ahead, a structure emerged from the gloom, a grand Victorian-style mansion that seemed to shift and breathe. The front door was slightly ajar. Inside, the mansion was a maze of hallways decorated for an eternal Halloween party. But the decorations were unsettling. Cobwebs made of spun glass that chimed menacingly, portraits on the walls whose painted eyes followed them. They found Sammy in a large ballroom-like room. He was sitting at a small table, a teacup in his hand, his eyes wide and vacant, staring at a figure sitting across from him. The Sandman was not a man at all, but a shifting, smoky entity with eyes that flickered with violet light. It had no discernible form, but its voice was smooth, like the quiet rustle of the sand it was made of. He's a sweet boy, the Sandman purred, his voice seemingly coming from everywhere at once. He loves his new home. No more monsters under the bed, only pleasant dreams. Forever. Sammy! Leo yelled. Sammy didn't respond. He just kept staring ahead, a faint smile on his face. You can't have him, Maya said, her voice shaking but firm. The Sandman turned its smoky form toward them.
Oh, but all the children come to me eventually. They need a place where the light can't hurt them. Exit light. Enter night.
As it spoke, the shadows in the room began to deepen, coiling around the trio like spectral snakes. They were the beasts under the bed, the fear in the closet, the things that go bump in the night. The Sandman was trying to trap them in their own minds.
We have to break the illusion,
Jax shouted over the growing chorus of whispers.
It's all a mental thing, guys.
Leo knew what he had to do. He remembered the lullaby, the bedtime prayer, and the song lyrics. The Sandman's power came from fear and the acceptance of the night. He had to remind Sammy of the light.
Sammy, remember playing flashlight tag? Remember the summer days? Remember the sun?
Leo pleaded, stepping closer, ignoring the shadows clawing at his legs.
We have to trust our sight, man, not the dark.
He grabbed a candle from a nearby table, a normal white candle amidst the dark decor. He thrust it toward his brother, a small flame, a defiant beacon against the omnipresent gloom. The light seemed to burn the Sandman. The entity recoiled, hissing as the flame touched its smoky form. The vast room began to buckle and warp. The darkness hated the light.
He's weak to it,
Maya shouted, grabbing a candelabra from a wall sconce and lighting all its candles with Leo's. Jax did the same. Together, the three friends held their flickering lights high, forming a triangle around Sammy. The combined light created a small, safe haven, pushing back the oppressive darkness. The Sandman wailed, its form disintegrating into a dust devil of black sand. The mansion around them started to crumble. The sounds of the "Hush, little baby" lullaby turning into a scream of static. Sammy blinked, his eyes focusing on Leo. The vacant smile vanished, replaced by relief.
Leo?
We're getting you out of here, bud, Leo said. As the world of Never Never Land dissolved into a swirling black sand, the three friends grabbed Sammy and ran towards the source of a blinding white light that had appeared where the mansion's front door used to be. They tumbled out of the lighthouse and onto the grass just as the Halloween moon reached its apex. They were cold, breathing hard, and covered in a fine layer of black sand. Sammy hugged his brother tightly.
The song, it was real. But the light saved us.
They walked home in the quiet pre-dawn hours of November 1st, leaving the spooky lighthouse behind them. The nightmares would likely never fully leave them. But they knew now that even in the darkest night, a little light could keep the Sandman at bay. They had faced their fears and brought their brother home, proving that some stories, even the scariest ones, can have a good ending.